All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. You're at Mark and Tom. We're going to be going over UFC Vegas 42, Holloway versus Rodriguez. First, let's say thank you to our sponsor, Tampa Bless, Home Team Do Good, TampaBless.com for more information on that. Don't forget to like and subscribe also. Let's get right into it, though. We got Max Holloway, ranked number 1, 29 years old. He's 22-6. He's last fought. He just put a mauling on Calvin Kattar in his last fight. It was crazy volume and punishment. He's going up against Yair Rodriguez, who's ranked number 3, 13-2, won no contest, age 29 also, and he's coming off a win against Jeremy Stephens. And his only recent loss is in 2017 to Frankie Edgar. Otherwise, this guy has been pretty unstoppable when he goes in there too. The problem is he hasn't been in there that much. Tom, a lot of people have Max Holloway as the greatest featherweight of all time. I think they're changing their minds a little with Volkanovski, but what do you see happening?
So we got Max Holloway, the American, on one side, 29, 5'9" in height. You got Yair Rodriguez, the Mexican, on the other side, 29 also, 5'9" in height as well, except Yair holds a 2-inch reach advantage. Max 22-6 overall, 18-6 in the UFC. Now you got to realize those 6 losses, one was to Conor, 2 were to Dustin, 2 were to Volkanovski, and then one was to, I think, Bermudez. So, I mean, right. You're only talking about the cream of the crop, really. He's coming off that dominant decision win over Calvin Kattar in January 2021. He's a brown belt in BJJ. On the other side, Yair, 14-2-0 with 1 no contest. He's 8-1-0 with no contest, and that was I believe that was that eye poke with Jeremy Stephens. And he's coming off a unanimous decision win over Jeremy Stephens in October 2019. It's been about 25 months since this man has been in the cage. He's a black belt in Taekwondo. What has he done with 2 years' time? That's really the question. I know I've seen videos of him training with John Jones. I mean, I know he's been working, but how much has he really progressed in those 2 years? 2 years is a long time. My pick, I'm thinking he hasn't progressed enough to beat Max. I'm going with Max by decision.
Okay. Yeah, I pretty much agree with that statement. Max right now is a huge favorite. I forgot to put the line up on this one. It's been changing so much. I think he's minus 720 right now. Just a crazy statement to say against a guy who's very capable of doing big things in the UFC against Yair. Max just has a different level of volume. He's never been finished or KO'd. He's got a crazy chin. He's got crazy endurance, crazy work ethic. And Yair, listen, he's got awesome skill set. He does a lot of wild things out there. He's exciting to watch. I just think the problem here is going to be volume. The same way we saw Kattar, Max just has that crisp striking. And Calvin Kattar has great striking, great boxing. He's known as more of a boxer in there. And Max just lit him up. I think we get close to the same thing. I think that Mexican heart lets him go probably the 5 rounds. But I see the same Max Holloway decision victory. He's just too good. He's climbing back to the top. And as you mentioned, his recent losses really were only 2 to Volkanovski, which both were extremely close. I believe the second was a split decision, and most people think Max was robbed. And
it was.
Dustin Poirier, but that was at a higher weight class, not even at featherweight. So he was way just undersized coming into that fight. So those are it. And Conor was like 5 years ago. So it'd be.
He's been talking about getting back with Conor.
Yeah, they all talk about it, but we'll see about that. He's got a list. He calls everyone out. It's fine. But as far as the card game goes,
he wasn't calling Max out. Max was calling for Conor.
I see Conor calling everyone out almost every day now.
Well, Conor did. Well, Conor was trolling people. He was probably drinking some proper 12 and trolling people.
Notorious. But Max, legend in the game. 29 years old still. He just has a great fan base, and he has that advantage right now where he's already known by all the UFC fans, and he's potentially he can grow with the UFC over here because the UFC has just gotten bigger and better, and the pandemic actually brought more eyes on it. And I think he continues to grow. I think he's a must-buy at these levels. His rookie card, it's not super easy. He's 2013 Bloodlines, that crazy set with Habib and Connor's rookie and everything. It's not easy to get, but Max is a must-buy. He's unbelievable. And he's young. He's still super young. Yair is a stud, as I mentioned before. I just think he's not active enough. But if he pulls off this huge upset, he's going to have all eyes on him. We got to wait and see. I don't think he does, but, I got a hold on Yair. 2015 Chronicles and all those sets are super easy to find. But the other problem with Yair is I don't think any casual fans have any clue who Yair is, and he's ranked number 3 in the world. So it's true, though. If you ask anyone who Yair Rodriguez, if they're not a hardcore fan, I doubt they know who he is. It's a problem. He's got to win this fight to really get his name out there and propel himself.
Well, if you haven't fought in 2 years either, most casuals weren't even watching.
Right.
Past 2 years.
I've mentioned that before when you asked me about some of the old timers. The problem is all the eyes weren't on the sport. All eyes are on the sport now. So these young comers might easily climb in price over the old timers, and it might stay like that because of that. But you got my picks. We'll see how it goes down. Also, I'll be taking Max in a lot of parlay pieces because Yair is the ultimate hedge if you're looking good. Just throwing that out there. It's not financial advice, entertainment only here. But let's move it on. Welterweight, Miguel Baeza, 29 years old, 10-1, and he's coming off that loss to Santiago Ponzinibbio. He's going up against Chaos Williams, who's only 27 years old, who's 12-2, and he's coming off a win against Matthew Selmsberger. Tom, we got literally 2 young, fun knockout artists getting in the cage. What do you see happening here?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. This is a good matchup. You got Miguel Baeza, the American, on one side, 29, 6'2" in height. He's listed. American Kalen Williams on the other side, 27, 6 feet, even in height. 2.5-inch reach advantage goes to Williams, though. 10-1 overall for Miguel Baeza, 3-1 in the UFC. He just got his first career loss he's coming off that loss to Santiago Ponzinibbio. And he's a black belt in BJJ. Kalen Williams on the other side, 12-2 overall, 3-1 in the UFC. He's coming off a decision win over Matthew Semmelsberger in June 2021, and he's a blue belt in BJJ. Both these guys are tough. I don't know if anybody's going to get put out, if anyone's lights are actually going to go out. But I'm going to go with Williams here by decision.
All right. Yeah, I think we are going to see lights out. I think that's Williams' path to victory. I think Baeza's the better fighter, crisper boxing. He's better in the pocket. But Williams has serious power, and I believe he has it in both hands. He's got serious speed. It's really a tough one. It's one of those ones you got to be careful taking either side on this one. It's almost you got to sit on the sidelines. But my pick is Miguel Baeza to get it done. Second round, maybe gas out Williams. But I would not be surprised if Williams finishes his fight. It's really tough right here. Now, both men were just printed. They're printed in Prism. And they're both young. They both have a lot of upside. They both have room to improve. They have time to improve. They have all that stuff on their side. I think we have to see a few more fights, though, before I really can put a buy rating on them. I'm going to put a hold on both of them and see where this fight goes and how it works out for both of them over the next couple of years. All right. We got another banger coming up here. My man, Song Yadong. He's ranked 15. He's 17-5. He's only 23 years old. 17-5, 23 years old. His last fight was a win over Casey Kenny. He's going up against Julio Arce, who's 32 years old. He's 17-4, and he's coming off a win against Andre Ewell. That was probably the best performance we've ever seen out of Julio Arce, and he was coming off surgery. So, Tom, does he look that good again? Does he piece up Song Yadong, or does Song Yadong's work rate just closed doors. What do you see happening here?
Well, Song Yadong, the Chinese, on one side, 23 years old, 5'7" in height. American Julio Arce on the other side, 32 years old, 5'6" in height. Julio Arce has a 3-inch reach advantage. Song Yadong, he's coming off that split decision win over Casey Kenny, August 2021. He's 17-5-1 with 1 no contest. UFC, he's 6-1-1. He does have a win under his belt over Chito Vera. On the other side, Julio Arce, 17-4-0. UFC 4-2. Both losses, though, were split decisions. So he could arguably, have easily been undefeated here in the UFC. He's coming off a TKO punches win over Andre Ewell, July 2021. He's a second-degree MMA black belt in Tiger Showman's. Just, similar to, I don't know if he's a second degree, but similar to Shane Burgos. Same fighting style.
Oh, Burgos is crazy, but yeah.
That whole school, yeah. And Julio Arce, I was looking, he had that win against Julian. I brought this, yeah, and he had the head kick win. That was a great win. And that guy just beat Charles Jourdain. So, you're talking about these guys have both beaten, they haven't beaten the top 5 guys, but they've beaten some serious contenders in my mind.
I got to say, though, I think Song Yadong got lucky with that win over Chito Vera. I thought Chito had that one. It was way closer than the judges let on. I actually thought Chito won, and I think I even bet Song Yadong, so I was happy, but it was just that close. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, but that wasn't a split.
If you go back and watch, sometimes they're not splits.
Casey Kenny was a split.
That's a tough opponent, too.
His most recent. Yeah. Anyway, evenly matched. I was kind of up in there. I was kind of going back and forth. But you know what? I'm going to pick Song by decision.
Song by decision. All right. I've been back and forth. If we see Arce that we just saw in the last fight, I think he gets the victory here. He's never looked that good. He looks better than ever. He's coming right into his prime here. I'm probably going to stay away from this one. I think it's tough. I'm going to be rooting for Song. He's 23. Like you said, he already has a ton of fights, even in the UFC. And he looks good. He puts out crazy volume. He's got a crazy chin himself. I'm not sure. I think he might be able to outpoint Julio Arce and get the decision victory. I agree. But for some reason, I think Arce is going to come up victorious in this one. I'm taking Arce.
By what?
I think he needs to finish him. I think he needs a submission, ground, get that rear naked choke if they get sweaty and go to the ground for a takedown or something like that. I don't know what round, but that's his way to victory. Otherwise, Song has crazy volume, crazy pace, and he looks good. And he's got a crazy chin. Now, I'm just going to mention Song's so young. He's got a ton of fights. I mentioned it. I want to see him beat a few ranked guys before I could really put the buy rating on him. He came out recently. He's 2020 tops. So by no means will you have a hard time finding him. I wouldn't worry about grabbing his cards. But I got to hold for now. He's got to climb the rankings a little bit more. But at 23, he's got a lot of time to improve. And as you mentioned, he already has a lot of experience in the cage. Julio, he's not printed yet. Not worried. He's got a ton of climbing to do before I can be a buyer of him anyways. Too many guys to beat. So right now, we'll just hold off on Arce and see what he does from here. Moving right along, we got a lightweight bout. We got Thiago Moises, who's ranked number 15. He's only 26 years old. He's 15-5, and he's coming off a loss to Islam Makhachev. He's going up against Joel Alvarez, who's 28 years old, 18-2. Joe's on a 3-fight winning streak. Tom, this is a tough one too right here. They really matched this card up pretty well. Outside of the spread on Yair and Max, a lot of these are just very evenly matched up here.
Especially the ones
so
we're
what
covering.
Do you see happening?
Well, you got Thiago Moises, the Brazilian on one side, 26, 5'8" in height. The Spaniard, Joel Alvarez, 28 years old, 6'2" in height. Alvarez holds a 6.5-inch reach advantage, so a pretty hefty reach advantage. Thiago, 15-5-0, UFC 4-3. He's coming off his first time ever getting finished by that rear naked choke in the 4th round to Islam Makhachev, July 2021. He's got a black belt in BJJ. He just looked a lot smaller than Islam, too, and plus Islam really did put the python on him. Now, on the other side, Joel, 18-2-0, UFC 4-1. Like you said, 3 wins in a row, and he's coming off an arm bar sub against, really round 1 against Alexander Yakovlev in October 2020. So that was over a year ago, and it was also at a catch weight because Alvarez missed weight. So he won that, but I don't like that when people miss weight. I almost don't want to root for him when I hear that, even if I picked him. It's just, I'm not with it. It's unprofessional, and we've already discussed that. I'm in favor of the fights being canceled and the other guys taking the show purse from the guy who didn't make weight as well as a bonus. Anyhow, my pick, this is close, and I'm wondering if Alvarez is going to make weight, and what has he done in the last year? These are 2 big questions here. Hopefully not gained weight, because it's going to be hard to cut, and hopefully he didn't wait too long and pull like an Aspen lad, and then we're going to end up with either a canceled fight or some catch weight. I'm going to go with Thiago, though, by decision. I think his back's up against the wall a little bit here. He wants to stay relevant here. You don't want to take 2 losses in a row. If you took it to Islam, that's one thing. You don't want to take it here again.
Islam definitely won that fight. He probably was winning. I'd say he was probably winning all the rounds too, but Islam's a different breed than most of these guys. As we saw what he did against Hooker. Didn't even take him around. He was joking, saying he didn't even sweat. He can go out there and fight again. So it's very hard to judge anyone off of fighting Islam. But judging him off his other fights, Thiago Moises looks very good out there. He's got great ground game. I don't think Alvarez is going to be able to go and submit him like he's been doing to other guys. We saw Islam had a hard time submitting Thiago Moises for 3 rounds. He didn't do it. This is a 3-round fight, and Joel Alvarez is no Islam Makhachev. I can tell you that right now. But I think Thiago gets it done also. I think Alvarez's key to victory is to try to use that reach and point fight him, but that's not his style. So I see it being a problem. I think Moises has a great chin. I think he's got pretty good stand-up, very good ground game. I think he's going to outmatch Alvarez. If Alvarez can't get a sneaky punch on or something, I don't see his road to victory too easily here with that ground game. Moises is just too skilled on the ground. Now, both men, they're not printed yet, and I wouldn't wager a ton. I would wager that both are probably printed pretty soon. Next Prism is around the corner. I don't know exactly the timeline, but we're at the end of this year's card run. So next Prism will be out soon. They'll be printing all those rookies. Moises is ranked right now. Almost guaranteed we see his rookie card coming out. And I'm sure we'll see Alvarez come out probably pretty soon as long as he stays relevant. So right now I got a hold on both these guys. We'll reevaluate after we watch this matchup, and probably even after we watch another matchup from both of them. All right, let's get into the women's flyweight matchup. We got Cynthia Calvillo, ranked number 5. She's 34 years old. She's 9-3-1, and she's on a 2-fight losing streak, getting beat by Andrade and Caitlin Chikugian. I'm just going to say she's kind of been a bust. She was supposed to be a lot better than she is. She had weight problems. She's now going to fight Andrea Lee, ranked 12, who's 12-5. She's 32 years old, and her last fight was a much-needed win over Antonina Shevchenko. Tom, do we see the underdog Andrea Lee get this job done, or does Calvillo, who seems to be favored in a lot of fights she shouldn't be, get the win?
Cynthia Calvillo, the American on one side, 34, 5'3" in height. Andrea Lee, American on the other side, 32 years old, 5'5" in height, has a 5.5-inch reach advantage over Cynthia. Now, Cynthia is 9-3-1, UFC 6-3-1. She's coming off a TKO punches round 1 loss to Jessica Andrade in September 2021, like 2 months ago. and 2 losses in a row. Andrea, on the other side, 12-5. UFC, for some reason, I don't know what I was thinking. I did not write it down. If you could check that for me, Marky, while I'm going through this. Andrea Lee, she's got a black belt in Kyokushin, brown belt in Judo, brown belt in BJJ, the crew in the Muay Thai, and she's coming off a sub win over Antonina Shevchenko in May 2021, and she's on the rise in my book. That said, this is the highest rank opponent she's ever faced.
Is she really ranked 5
Cynthia,
at flyweight, though? I think that carries over from her strawweight. I'm not sure how she's really ranked 5. I think she's had 3 matches at that, and quite frankly, she's got 2 out of.
Yeah, the last fight she looked terrible. I'll just say that straight out. But it's a tough call here, honestly. Andrea Lee, I'm a fan, and I think she's on the rise. But I'm going to lean towards Cynthia by decision here.
Looks like she has 9 total fights in the UFC. Cynthia. 1, 2.
I got her 6-3-1, but I wasn't looking for her.
Oh,
I had her down. Andrea Lee. Yeah.
I'll take a look in a second. But all right, I'll tell you right now, I think Andrea Lee gets the job done here. She has a little bit of a problem with her takedown defense. She seems to get taken down in most of her fights, but she doesn't get submitted. She normally doesn't take a ton of ground and pound. And I don't think Cynthia Calvillo has really what it takes as far as strength and everything goes. Andrea Lee is strong. She's like, she's got that old Texas rodeo girl in her. She fights, she battles. She looks good. I also think she's been on the short end of the stick a few times on a few of her decision losses. I thought she definitely had some wins that could have catapulted her up to being ranked 5, 4, whatever. Title shot, because Shevchenko really has no one else to fight up there. She'll take anyone on. It's true, though. I mean, she's so dominant.
Yeah. I saw her belt.
The rubies,
came out.
yeah.
Valentina has this belt. She got the rubies. It's dope.
So she's so dominant. But I think Andrea Lee's the dog to pick here. I think this is one of those fights where you can sneak in some plus money. Andrea Lee by decision. Calvillo's just, like I said, she's kind of a bust. She could never make weight when she was down at 115. So she moves up, and now she's 2-1. I could leave her. She's been a disappointment as far as I see. But that being said, the card game goes, Cynthia, easy find, 2017 Museum Collection. She just can't put it together. I got her as a sell. Sell hard on Cynthia. She's never going to be champ. She's got no shot of beating Shevchenko. 0. I like Andrea Lee. I think she's been on the short end of the stick. Like I said, 2019 Chrome and Knockout. She's easy to pick up. She's cheap. Unfortunately, she's been on the wrong end, so she's not really climbing the ladder the way she should. I think she could. Same time, I think she also has no shot of beating Valentina. So I got to skip on her also. I think with some work, she can at least give her a fight. I don't think Calvillo, no shot. All right, let's move on to my guy. This is one of my favorite up-and-coming fighters right here.
After your entire lecture, basically, about how Calvillo's fallen off, let's not forget that I got her picked by decision.
Yeah, Andrea Lee's the dog here. This is the dog money. You get that money on Andrea Lee. She's going to get it done here. It's a rough one, but she's going to get it done. Calvillo doesn't even like to wrestle most of the time, and that's what she is. But we'll see. All right, moving right on. We got a light heavyweight bout. My boy, Kennedy Nchukwu, who's 9-1. He's 29 years old. He's on 3-fight winning streak. His only loss is to Paul Craig, the Bear Jew. No shame in that. That guy is aggressive when he's out there. I like to watch Paul Craig.
He's great. I like Paul.
Well, he's going up against Jung, 14-2-1. He's only 27 years old, and he has not lost in his last 14 fights. He just has the one draw against Sam Alvey. Tom, what do you see happening here? We got really like Dong Jung's more of a wrestler takedown guy here, going up against Nchukwu, who's more stand-up. How does this play out?
Well, you got Kennedy and Chukwu, the Nigerian, on one side, 29, 6'4" in height. Other side, South Korean, Jung Da-un, 6'3" in height, tall for an Asian. And Kennedy holds a 4.5-inch reach advantage. Now, Kennedy, 9-1-0, UFC 3-1. Coming off that TKO by punches round 3 win over Danilo Marquez in June 2021. Jung on the other side, 14-2-1, UFC 3-0-1. He's coming off a unanimous decision win over William Knight in April 2021. Well, here's the deal. If Kennedy tries to do what he did last fight, where the other guy is basically trying to submit him the whole time until the guy tires out, and then Kennedy beats on him, I don't think that's a good move here with Jung Da-un. I think he might actually get submitted if he pulls that. He doesn't want to do that. I hope he learned from that. That said, I don't think that necessarily he will completely learn from that, and I think Jung Da-un will sub him round 2. Maybe a Darce or possibly a rear naked choke.
No. Nchukwu is the other dog for sure. I'm loading up on this guy. This guy's going to win. Dong Jung submits, Knight. I mean, the guy's 5'10". He had no shot. He was just getting tripped. He was just too short. He's a knockout artist. Kennedy's the bigger guy in this fight. He's not going to go over there and just be able to trip Kennedy. He's too big. He gets up when he's down most of the time. And he's improving. Every time you see him, he looks better and better. And my God, does he have one of the best chins you're going to watch. This is easy. Nchukwu is going to get the knockout here. I don't know what round. He's getting that knockout. You're going to be thanking me that you took this plus money guy right here. First night of the fight, if I'm wrong, you could always make it up later on. I like this a lot, though. Nchukwu, both men, though, they're not printed. They're both young. Personally, I might PC Kennedy. I like him. If he starts to live in the gym, I do think he's a serious contender. His frame, his reach, his size is serious. His hands are extremely good. His chin is very good. Those couple of things you can't really teach. He has them all. And he seems very teachable. You hear him listen to his coach. His coach scream in the corner. He's like, yes, sir. And then he does what his coaches say. There's none of that. He's paying attention. He's listening, and he does what they tell him. So if he has a good coach, watch out. I think Nchukwu is the real deal. I think he climbs the rankings. Like I said.
I just want to say that this was a paid advertisement for friends of Kennedy and Nchukwu.
Nah, I'm just a fan. I'm telling you guys, he's good. Don't sleep. Take the dog here. You're getting plus money on Nchukwu. I like it. Now, Jung already looks good, too. It's possible he gets a win. I don't think he does. I got to give him a little time. I got to see what else he can do. Once he goes up against Nchukwu, if Jung can get the deal done, I might switch to a buy. Because I think Nchukwu's chin's there. I think his ground game is not quite there, but I don't think he's just going to get submitted. And I don't think you just take this guy down. He's so big. He's so strong. And he's been working on his takedown defense. You could tell when he's out there. All right, guys. Sorry about putting this one up so late. But like, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.